Hello and welcome to the final Sonic.EXE story! Yay! Now, I'm doing this one in a different way than my past Sonic.EXE ventures. Because for one thing, my flashlight broke. And I don't feel like dying at the end, so yeah. There's that. So anyway, but this one, it follows the exact formula as the original. In that you got two Sonic, well this one's two Sonic characters who end up dealing with the supernaturally element thing. An incompetent player, and different character this time. So, here we go! I'm a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog series, like a lot of people. Depends what fan you are. I narrowed down to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows, though, because I think the rest Sega has spawned was rat crap, each to their own. Depends who you ask. I was browsing eBay the other day. I wondered if there were any items about my favorite character from the series, Sally.EXE. Indeed, what I found was a plushie that was manufactured in Sega World of Sydney, which closed down due to the lack of visitors in 2006. Those Sally plushies were very rare, but I didn't have the money to buy her, and my parents would despise me for it. I examined the plushie for a while, as the article came with pictures. This Sally even had her jacket on it. Was written with a permanent marker. God. I don't really know what it meant. Probably the initials of the child owning her before they sold her. Okay, how stupid are you? What parent would name their kid God? I mean, unless they're like really egocentric, I guess. Or they're like really obsessed with their child, or at the point where they would like build a shrine for them in their closet and bow down saying I'm not worthy to their child, which why? I clicked the back button to return to the Sally search, knowing I would win the auction anyway, only to find another article had appeared. Sonic.EXE cartoon. All episodes with the price of $1 on Instant Buy. Sonic.EXE DVDs were never released where I come from. Bummer. Oh, you've clearly never been to a Smith's or Kroger yet, have you? Or even a Walmart. Wow. So as happy as I was, I wanted to re-watch the show and checked out the article. It had no description and no address where it came from. Germany, Canada, etc. It was missing and the shipping price was stated to be free. I looked up the photo of the article. It was a blank CD. I've decided to buy it anyway. Not just for the nostalgia, but the writing was great and I love Robotnik in the series. Yeah, Robotnik being voiced by Winnie the Pooh. Haunt your nightmares, kids! Well, it all started when the mail arrived. It arrived the next morning. Oddly, it was Sunday. I was happy to receive the episodes and immediately put the blank CD into my laptop and started the DVD. Sadly, the DVD didn't start, but it offered me to show the files. So I opened the folder and saw a Sally.EXE application. I was confused at it being an EXE, but I started it anyway, and indeed, it was playing a Sat.AM episode. The episode, Hooked on Sonics, began. The episode started out all normal with the intro, no blood or anything. Good to know. I should probably throw this in there. I have never seen the Saturday morning cartoons of Sonic. Never have. Only Adventures. I should probably bring that up. But the sad thing was that my computer blue screened when the kissing scene of Sonic and Sally started. When Sally walks over to Sonic and kisses his cheek, he calls her kiss not so good. Let me reread that. Kisses not so good. And grants her a better one. And it was cute too. The computer rebooted and I took out the CD, as I thought it had malfunctioned, and threw it away. I could have asked the person to give me my money back, but he can keep the $1. I gave him. I mean, it's just $1. I don't know, in this economy? I continued to normally browse the internet, speak to friends on Skype and all. Nothing was wrong until when I was watching a random YouTube video, my cursor, the white arrow in case you didn't know. I did not know that. Wow, you must be really smart, Sherlock. Started to completely spaz out. I disconnected my mouse, but the cursor continued to thrash around the screen. I even deactivated my touchpad and it continued. Suddenly, it came to a stop and I carried on, ignoring what had happened. Soon, I found myself downloading a ROM for Sonic the Hedgehog. Fun game. As soon as it had downloaded, I started up my emulator and begun the game in windowed mode. But oddly, the complete screen went black. I shrugged it off and waited for the game to start. Okay, how did you go from having your mouse be spazzing out to getting a ROM of Sonic the Hedgehog? How did that work? Where did that come from? The familiar Sega jingle didn't sound. Well, it did, but it was slowed down so much it sounded demonic and it gave me a cringe. The background remained black and Sonic didn't run past the logo. It faded to black and some text appeared. I first thought it was a red font, but it looked like it was scratched into my computer screen. Up for round 2? I blinked and flinched as the main screen came on. The sky was a dark gray, and the clouds looked dull and black, like there was before a thunderstorm. The mountains were decayed, and so was the logo. It even looked partially rusted. I was amazed at the pixel detail, but it also scared me. Sega 1991 was now replaced with Sega 666. Wow. Wow. And the water was bloody red. The familiar music wasn't playing either. It was just a 16-bit mess of sounds the demonic Sega occasionally mixed in. Instead of Sonic showing up, 2 characters appeared next to the logo, Tails and Knuckles. The sight of them terrified even more. Tails' eyes were black and they were bleeding. His fur had become a dull gray-black as well, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Knuckles looked far worse. His red fur had darkened to a reddish-gray, and his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding like Tails. He had a look of sadness on his face. Okay, you know what you're missing here? You're missing Eggman and what happened to him. Yeah. You claim you're a so-called fan of this. Where's Eggman or Dr. Robotnik in this? Just then, I noticed a new character pop out of the middle of the logo. A pink, bubbly little hedgehog poked her head out. At first, she was smiling, and then frowned at what was around her. She looked confused and nervous, like she didn't really know what was going on. Amy Rose? I thought. What is all this about? Curiosity drove me to press enter. A short yet loud static noise sounded and the screen faded. I wish I hadn't done so. Kyle didn't want to play with me. The writing appeared again. What a shame. but I can play with you. Right! The demonic Sega jingle sounded. Again, as if for a split second, an image flashed. It disappeared too fast, so I couldn't make it out. But I could swear I saw a red and black Sonic with black and red eyes. I almost felt them pierce me, and that moment made me jump. It didn't begin in Green Hill Zone Act 1, though. I wish it did. Instead, the title card read, "Not Perfect, Act 1. The game begun. The ground looked like the normal Green Hill Zone, but the background was pitch black. Amy stood normally where Sonic would be in the original game. Surprisingly, that was a well-made sprite. It was her classic self, but her current self. It even looked official, even. On the opposing side of the screen where Amy was at, there was a large silver ring. In front of the silver ring stood the sprite of Sonic, with a smile on his face. The animation of Amy standing there was that she stared forward with the lovey-dovey expressions as her hearts came from her head here and there. I guess I should head to Sonic. I thought as I moved Amy towards Sonic. We all know where this is going, right? But Sonic ran away and jumped into the ring. I made Amy leap after him. The level teleported to one of the stages where you could get a Chaos Emerald. The background was pink with love hearts all over. It looked cute. But I was distracted by having only 4 red, white colored spheres to jump on. And I've tried to balance Amy on top of it as she desperately tried to keep onto the spheres. But my control slipped and Amy fell. Weren't you using a keyboard? How could your controller slip from your hands if you were gripping that? How did that work? I fell onto a wall of gold spheres. Just as I thought, I teleported back. A loud shriek sounded, and the image of this demonic Sonic continued to flash over the screen. The screen completely spazzed out, and I heard shrieks. Loud shrieks from what I could swear it was Amy Rose herself. I kept hearing, "No, no, no!" and loud cries of agony and pain, which abruptly ended with more static for a split moment before the screen cut to black. Soon the title screen appeared again. Knuckles and Tails were missing, but instead, Amy appeared. She was smiling her usual cute smile, but her body had holes. Not bleeding holes or bullet holes, just holes that pierced her body all over. Okay, here's the way how I could picture this. Think of Swiss cheese. Yeah, like that. Her colors faded to a dull black and white. Even her eyes looked oddly disfigured. This scared me so much my entire body began to itch. I scratched myself over and over as I watched a new character appear. I frowned upon seeing Cream, who had a sheer terrified expression and huddled against the logo for comfort. Poor Cream. I wanted to quit the game, but as if forced, I hit start again and the screen faded. Nobody forced you. Ooh, like, is there like some sort of weird supernatural thing going on here? Because I'm not picking that up. Kind of Fair, Act 1. The stage was blank now, and the music was a drowned sounding, slower version of the Green Hill Zone. It nearly made me gag, but something forced me to play. The stage began, and Cream's sprite was like Amy's. Very well done. The environment was childish. It looked like a cute cutout. In front of Cream was the TV box that gave you higher speed. I made Cream crouch down and do a spin dash, and I dashed ahead, crashing the box. The level didn't change. The ground was a solid platform, and it seemed that Cream was going faster, 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 and she crashed more boxes, and more, and more. I noticed the music got completely out of sync, which scared me. Suddenly, Cream crashed into a wall of spikes. A loud splat sounded, which didn't even sound like it would belong in a 16-bit game. Poor Cream was torn to shreds. Blood dripped from the spikes, and the bloodiest rabbit as the background slowly began to melt in front of my eyes. The image flashed again, and the title soon appeared. As expected, I was back on the title screen, and Amy appeared with Cream. She did look scared, but her other eye was, well, how do I put it? Droopy and dead and bled like a black goo. Her ears were over her face now instead of the back of her hair. Her color scheme changed from brown and orange to a very, very dark purple and red. Her dress was a dull gray. Time for the third character. And God, did I want to cry when I wept and I saw Sally.EXE pop out of the goddamn logo, putting on her innocent smile as she waved toward me, like she didn't know what torture would happen to her. The game was so terrifying and yet so fascinating, but I wanted to stop real bad, but my hand wouldn't budge. I even started shaking. I wanted to reach for the power button, turn the darn thing off, but my hand just wouldn't move, and before I knew it, I had already hit start and the screen faded. Blank Act 9, it said. A sad, dull melody played in the background as the silhouette of the ground, and a sprite silhouette that resembled Sally appeared in front of the background that consisted the whole group. Amy, Cream, Knuckles, Tails, and Robotnik. Oh, finally you give Robotnik some credit! Finally! All in their tortured forms with a saddened expression. It also had Sonic, but in a nearly unrecognizable way. He had a wide grin on his face with razor-sharp teeth. He had black eyes with red dots for pupils, which was bleeding. It looked like he was reach out to the silhouette in front of him. I tried to move Sally, get her out of there, but each wall wouldn't budge, and Sally would do a pushing animation. I stopped in the middle as to my horror, the stage began to shrink and black started coming to close in on Sally. I tried moving her again, but the walls wouldn't budge or move. I walked Sally back to the middle of the walls, closed in on her. She crouched down before she completely disappeared in black. Splat! The red writing appeared on the screen again, only it was dripping like blood and it was croaked. Sonic, my love. Suddenly, a familiar scene faded in. I recognized it immediately. Sonic.EXE was playing from where the CD had cut off. It had a reddish shade, and Sonic had these black, bleeding, demonic eyes. Sally looked even worse, at least to me. Her eyes were missing. It was like they were taken out, and Sally's skull was sewed closed again. Blood was running from her wound. It didn't look Photoshopped. It was actually animated. Sonic pulled Sally over like in the show, only tentacle-like. Things bursting out of their mouths and locked, making disgusting slurping noises. I couldn't even see them budge in Sally's throat. Worst thing was that they even looked like they were enjoying it. And for a moment, I think I was too. What a sick bastard you are. I could see the corrupted Tails and Knuckles in the background too. Sonic pulled away. So, not bad? Sally simply replied. I gagged and looked away from the screen. Out of the corner, I noticed something on my bed. On my bed. Why did you repeat that? Was the Sally doll I saw on eBay, with its eyes missing. And that was Sally.EXE. Well, it followed the same exact formula as Sonic.EXE. Hell, it even gave Sonic.EXE a lover in terms of Sally.EXE. Which I probably guess might end up pissing a lot of people off. Me, I kinda don't care. Well, it was kind of fun to read toward the end. I mean, it's easy to get into. I'd say it is as probably good as the original Sonic.EXE. As good as the original. Not as... It wasn't as bad as the other one I read, the supposed real sequel to Sonic.EXE. But that said, this one was decently bad. So, yeah, there we go. Well, see you guys later. Bye.